Okay, in this lab 3 for the milling on the Hurco WinMax. So we're going to look today at milling lines and arcs. So we're going to start with this shape here, and we're going to work on the outside shape first. So into WinMax, and first thing we do is on the input screen we can set up the stock material. So part setup, more, stock geometry, manual sizing, yes. The length of the box is 135, the Y is 70, and the Z is 40. So 0 editing there, minus 70, and for the Z position we're going to push that up to 32. So now we can just do a quick draw to check and see is the component stock correct. So that's the geometry there that we want for the stock. So straight into the data blocks, our input screen, part programming, milling, and this time it's lines and arcs. Now our start point here, we need to take a look at our drawing. We're going to create a center point here in the part. This is our 0, 0 up in this area here, and we want to set a reference point in here, which will therefore allow us to confirm this as the start point here. Drawing this line, this clockwise arc, this line, and finishing with this clockwise arc. So our start point from that, we'll go through it in class, but basically it's 20 minus 5, and that'll differ for different people. And our start point here is basically 30. And our start point is actually 31, and our bottom is 1. And the tool we're going to use here is an end mill. So it's something like the diameter 6 end mill, and it's going to be a profile left. And we'll go through the offsets later on and enable them. So that's our start point. So that point there would equate to this corner point here. Again, we worked this out in class, and we've given the center point here that we know. So moving on from that, our next segment. So we define a line as our next segment. The X end of the line, okay, this is our starts here. So our X end is basically 100 millimeters in addition to that. So where I get to 100 millimeters is the length of the bottom line here is 100 millimeters. So 120, and the Y is static. And you see it calculates out the length at 100 and the angle is 0. So a line straight across is 0. And we'll go on to our next segment. This time it's going to be an arc. Okay. Our X end is basically the same as our X start. It's 120. And our Y end would be the Y start working way down. So if we look at that, there's our start point of the arc, end point. We can see that the block itself is 50 millimeters in depth. So it would be the minus 5 plus the 50, which is minus 55. I'm going to leave the X center, I'm going to leave the Y center blank, type in 30 for the radius, and WinMax will calculate the rest. So I know that minus 30 is correct, so I'm happy with that, and the sweep angle is 112, which looks to be right. There is multiple center points, and we can click here in order to change that. So if I go into my next segment, it's going to be this line across the bottom, this line here, and because it's working back the way, okay, we're working back to 20 millimeters. Our Y end there, I'm going to minus 55. It should be the same as the Y start, and we can see here now the line's 100 long and 180 degrees, which matches our drawing here. 180 degrees is going in this direction and 100 millimeters long. Our next segment then is going to be an arc, same as before. This X end is going to be the very start that we're at, and same with the Y. We leave the center of blank this time because we don't definitely know them. We know the radius, and there's similar sweep angle again. So we can double check now. If we look at the blocks, we've done our line, arc, and if we just do our draw command, draw and draw. So that looks okay. Let's rotate it and have a look. Okay, so that's not too bad in material. We just want to make sure that we want to machine sufficiently down the way. Now I might change my Y values here to minus 10 in order to center this in the block. So I could quickly go back and change that back to my start, my contour, Instead of minus 5, I could have minus 10 everywhere. Next segment, minus 10 there. Next segment, that should be minus 60. Next segment, minus 60. Next segment, minus 10. So just check that work okay. Yep, so it's centered down the block, which is fine. It's not exactly centered in the y-axis, but that's not too bad. So we'll go back to the data blocks here again, start on my contour, and I'm actually going to do an offset here of 12 millimeters and see what that looks like. And draw it again. You can see two paths there, and removing all the material here at the corners, which is good to go. So that's the first lines and arcs that we're going to do, and it's a profile left as I've calculated in. And we can see here there's the contour that we followed. Next video, if you follow the link, we'll deal with this pocket boundary inside, which is the exact same setup again.